Hey guys, this is Stu Johnson with PublicityAce.com, and I wanted to do this short tutorial on 7 ways you can increase direct mail response by at least 27% by asking these 7 useful, relevant questions of your market. Some of which you may already be asking, but if just one of them helps your bottom line just by a factor of 2, you're still way ahead of the game. So let's go ahead and get started. The first question. And like I said, you might be asking these questions already for your direct mailing list. And if you're not into direct mailing, it's something that's really easy to get into because there are resources and places you can go online that, to be quite frank and quite honest, not many people know about. They're not really widely shared because, secrets kind of kept under wraps or whatever. But I would be more than happy to hop on the phone with you and give you that resource guide and help you with your business because, helping you get better results is pretty much the name of the game. So anyway, I'm going to just shut down here, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Number 1, how many steps are there in the buying process for this product? So break it down into segments. When you look at your product, think about, what's the first thing, I'm going to do. Think of it as landing pages on your website, for instance. The first page gets them to give you their phone number, email address, and then in return, you could give them a quick start guide PDF with some links in it, type of thing. Now that's how it works online. But how many steps are there in buying the product in direct mail? So it's totally different animal, but it's pretty much operates on the same principle. So where in this process, does your mailing fit? Because marketing is kind of like a funnel. People start at the beginning. They, it's segmented. There's a buying process at the beginning. The buying process could be 4-part, 5-part. It could be 2-part or just 1-part. So look at what your competitors are doing and find out what their buying process is, and then where do you fit in that process? Are you kind of an upsell of something or a product that's already out there that people are familiar and already use? Or are you more towards the bulk, the middle, the entree, so to speak, or at the beginning, the cup of coffee, what you have to sort of make discernment and also look at what people have already established. No need to invent the wheel when doing this type of research. But there's forums, there's all kinds of stuff, and there's, of course, I help you with that as well. And number 2, what can I tell my prospect that will get him or her to take the next step in the buying process? So there's usually something that holds most people back, and in my opinion, it's a guarantee. And I know that scares a lot of people off, but at the same time, you have to think of the landslide of orders that you're going to get as opposed to not offering a guarantee. Because, of course, when you don't offer a guarantee, it's telling them, I'm kind of going to protect myself, sorry about your luck if you don't like it, and stuff like that. And people just don't like that. So what I do is I just offer a 100% money back guarantee. I'll even offer a lifetime guarantee on some of my products because, I don't really see any reason for them to give it back. And if for some reason they do, guess what? You got the rest of your life to do it. Depending on what it is exactly. I mean, if I had to put some real elbow grease into something, of course, I might have like a quit stop fee or something like that. But other than that, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, what can you tell the prospect that'll get them to take the next step in the buying process? And guarantee is usually what's missing. And what most people tend to do, I found in my experience, is use the scarcity card and kind of making things, there's only 4 left and stuff like that. I've seen eBay do this. It's got some automated bot, or something, and it's just fake. So don't fake it. I mean, actually, if you say 12 people, you really got to give it to 12 people, okay? So don't play around with that, because if people think you're doing that to manipulate them, they are so gone. So I just think the guarantee is the best thing to do to get most people to take the next step in the buying process. But you, of course, would have to research your market a little more, find out what that is and in what segment of that process in question number 1 they're in. Number 3, can I reduce selling costs by creating a mailing designed to produce a direct sale instead of an inquiry? Now, usually when people do direct mailing, they'll mail out Are you interested in siding and gutters? Are you interested in follow-up? Okay, here's my phone number. Yes, I would like the brochure mailed to me, and so on. And then it's mailed back, paid postage to the marketer, and then the marketer follows up with the customer, and of course they wanted the call, and then they set up a meeting and blah blah blah. So instead of an inquiry type thing, as I just explained, you could just go for a direct sale. It depends again, what segment of that buying process that the customer is in. So if you're selling something that should be on the front end, on the back end, and so on, and the ability to differentiate between this stuff is kind of a tacit skill you just develop. But for most folks, it's pretty much the same formula, and when they say, reduce selling cost, this is something you could do an add-on, you could do like an upsell or something like that if these people are already buying, say, a diet supplement that's working for them, an herbal supplement, and this herb that you're selling in addition to that helps synergizes with what they're already taking and makes it even more powerful, something like that, an add-on that makes what they're already doing more effective solving their problem. So that's essentially that. And then number 4, how many leads do you want to generate? How many, do we want a large quantity of soft leads, people that may or may not be interested? Yeah, I'm kind of interested, but not really. Or are you better off getting a smaller number of more highly qualified leads? I would go with the latter, because if you go with soft leads, you can get a huge list, 10,000 people, I paid 20 cents a name, or I paid a nickel or a dime or something like that. These are not people, there's chances that that list could be in thousands of other people's hands, and they could be mailing to the same people. So you really want to watch your sources. I have a resource guide that I'm currently putting together at publicityace.com, and that I will put on the front page, at the top of the page, in front of my testimonials. Again, at publicityace.com, and I'll put that up there. So I'll give you the resource guide. You need to know these places that I use, because I've already, had my fingers hit, before by myself, of course, for choosing, the wrong people. So not everybody's necessarily honest out there, and you just got to watch it. So, do you want soft leads or do you want targeted leads? You want targeted leads, absolutely. You're going to spend a lot less time, wearing out the foot leather and making calls and being on the phone and all that stuff with people that are not interested than you are just walking in, throwing the deal on the table. It's done, okay? And that way you've got a way better chance. So if you've really got a targeted audience, a real target market, targeted list for mailing, it's so easy. It's crazy. So, all right, number 5. What happens if the mailing produces too many leads? Too few? In my opinion, and in the opinion of other people that have trained me that are 100 times better than I am, what happens if you don't produce as many leads as you want? If you have a good list, you don't have to worry about too few. Okay, and you also don't have to worry about too many. Okay, this is kind of a trick question. So, there's no such thing as too many leads. There's just such thing as too much fat, so to speak, on your list. And fat is the people that are not interested. In fact, the Pareto principle, 80-20, basically says everything can be broken down at 80-20. It's like this macro microscope. You can put it on anything. Say, take for instance, a certain type of marketing. You could take a list of people that are, that you're mailing to that are interested in dietary supplements, and you could take a list of 1,000 people, and 800 of those people will pretty much be time wasters, and the other 200 of that list of 1,000 will actually be your buyers. And you just have to figure out who those people are. And I also go into that process and explain that as well, or will be explaining that in other videos. So what happens if there's too many? Nothing. Okay, you got to just focus on your targeting. If you do get some fat around the edges, you just trim them off. If they're not interested, it's better to have a well honed out, shaven, good list than just something that's, just everywhere all the time. And then too few. If you don't produce enough leads, then the list, of course, wasn't very good. Normally, it's the list owner. It's where you buy them. It's these list brokers. Again, I will give you information, a resource guide I'm putting together on the site. And then number 6, is there a geographic region that my sales force does not cover, and how can I respond to inquiries, from this region? Well, depending on what you're doing and depending on, the compliance department, if you work under an umbrella of another company, I really can't comment on their policies. But if there is, a geographic region that you can't cover, like somewhere way out in the country, if you're selling a farm product or something like that, it's just kind of good to find out, how they want to communicate. Because some folks, just don't answer their phone, and then just, they want to get an email or whatever it is. And sometimes, it's just a matter of loss. That's kind of up to your discretion, what you do in that situation. But sometimes you do not mail list, do not call list, and you have to respect all these folks that are doing that, because they don't want, they don't want to be bothered. And you don't want to bother the people that don't want to be bothered. Okay, so number 7, what is the primary market for my product or service? So which industry needs it the most? So whatever product that you're selling, and I'm going to give out a gold nugget here, a good way to find out if that is a good market for direct mail is to actually go down, and I know this sounds weird, well, it's technology, you should be able to do it on Google, but you should physically do this. And I know it sounds crazy, and you're just going to be like, man, that's kind of tacky, but here's how it works. If a market in your industry that's selling a product or service has a magazine in the magazine section of a grocery store or a CVS or someplace like that, that's a really good indicator. And this is a gauge. This is kind of a gauge that was used by somebody that I followed for a while. He was a really good copywriter, and he used to do this. And he used to just be able just to nail it out of the park every time. He'd go down to the local CVS, local grocery store, and go to the magazine section. And a lot of times, the magazine sections are still there. But for some reason, they're a real good indicator, better than online, of what's happening. I don't know why that is, but it just seems to be what's going on. Because anything online can be manipulated in seconds. Those magazines are going to sit there. So it's kind of a it's sort of this remnant kind of thing from Madison Avenue. But if you go down to the grocery store, you go to a CVS, you go to the magazine section, and you're selling dietary supplements, a specific type, and there's a magazine on that specific type. And in other words, the more specific you are about what it is you sell, the better the niche is for your business. So people like specialists. They like people that can drill down into the details. If you break your foot, you go to a podiatrist. You don't just go to an ortho. You go to a podiatrist. So somebody who really specializes in your foot because you want to get that fixed right. So people like specialists. So specializing in dietary supplements, ketones, KETONES. That stuff is a specialized field. It's kind of a special thing. It's different. It has a unique sound to it. Those are the markets that you should get into. Stuff that's unique, stuff that's relevant, useful. Something that's also ultra specific, like I said. Because if it's not ultra specific, you're kind of getting general. And when you get too general, the nectar goes away. That's the only way I know how to say it. It's kind of like the sweet spot just goes away because you're not concentrating on any one thing. So when you're choosing the primary market for your product or service, make sure it's something you specialize in or something really unique that has its own thing going on, and you'll do just fine. And if you use the list brokers at the resource guide I'm putting together at publicityace.com, you'll be able to go there, sign up, find a list, and mail to that list with great results. So anyway, this is Stu Johnson with PublicityAce.com. I want to thank you again for watching this. If the microphone's not so good, I apologize for that. I haven't done a video for a while, but for tips on getting more targeted traffic and increasing sales of your products and services, go to PublicityAce.com and find out. The resource guide is there. Should be. If it's not, it will be soon, and I'll tell you when it's going to be there. If not, feel free to contact me using the contact form, and have a great day.